Hey guys, the Gadget Man here with Nothing But Gadgets, and today I'm going to be showing you this Ceyomur CY95 trail camera. So let's go ahead and break this out of the box. Now this was sent to me for free to do this review, so that's what I'm going to do. First I'm going to show you what they sent me, and then we'll put it out in the field and test it. So we got our little camera right here. This is a solar powered camera. It's also Wi-Fi and Bluetooth, and I'll make a separate video for those functions. If you're interested in connecting via Wi-Fi, there'll be a separate video for that. Okay, let's go ahead and open it up. Okay, so it has an internal lithium-ion battery that the solar panel recharges. And if it's in the sun, it should never need batteries, but if for some reason you don't have enough sunlight, you actually can power it with 4 AA's. So it has multiple power options that you can actually charge it using a data cable to charge the internal battery and use that. Use AA's, or if you have sun, you can use the sun to charge the internal lithium-ion battery. It also comes included with a 32GB micro SD card inserted right there, so you won't need to buy that. Okay, other features: it has a screw mount on the back for the hardware mount that it has included in the box, which we have our strap there, and if you want to mount it permanently, there's our charging cable. We have these right here, and there's some screws. Okay, this is your hardware mount, would go here, or you could put it on a tripod. Tripod screw fits that too. You can use the strap, and the strap is right here. Also has a place for using a rope with it. Okay, side sensors. These are pre-sensors, they don't activate the camera, they just get the camera in awakened state so that the middle sensor can detect it, and has your dark LEDs. What I'm going to do is put this out in the field for a little bit and get some test footage and samples, kind of test it out and see how it works, and then come back and tell you what I think about it. So hold on, I'll be right back. Alright guys, so I've had this Ceyomur CY95 camera in the woods for about a month now. I've had it in 2 different locations. I actually moved from my old place to a new place in the meantime while I've had this camera, and so I've had it in both places. And I've got a lot of footage and stuff with it. So let me go ahead and just jump right into the samples, which is probably what you're here for. And let me show you those things. So let's go ahead and show you that. So first, I'm going to start with some nighttime samples from my old place where you're going to see a deer and a hog and stuff like that. So let's show you those. Okay, and now I'm gonna show you some videos from my new place. This is actually in my yard now, where the camera is actually at. I've got a deer feeder in my front yard, and so I can actually sit on my front porch and look at the pictures using the Wi-Fi function on this without even going to the camera. So let me go ahead and show you some samples, and then I'll talk about actually the Wi-Fi function and how it works a little bit after that. So here are some samples from my front yard. Okay, I want to talk about range. One commenter on another video that I did a review, said, you never talk about how far away the objects are in the videos. So I'm going to talk about that now because, you might want to know how far the infrared lights reach out there at night, which is the most time when animals are walking. So that's a good question, and thank you for that suggestion. So from now on, I'm going to try to remember to cover the distances in my videos. So let's go ahead. I'm going to throw up a picture of the actual area in front in my front yard. So The actual feeder that you're looking at right there is about 15 yards from the camera. Okay, there's a tree over to the right. That's about 20 yards away. And then there's another tree over to the left, which is a little more than 20 yards away. In the background, you can see a telephone pole, and that's 40 yards away. And in front of that telephone pole to the right a little bit, you'll see a bush there, and that's 30 yards away. Okay, so I'm going to show you a video of some deer walking at about 35 yards at night, so you can see basically the range of the usability of the infrared light. So here we go. And as you watch in this video, you can see those deer are about 35 yards away. They're in between the bush and the telephone pole, and you can see them. You can't tell a whole lot about them, whether they're a buck or a doe, but you can tell that they're deer. So about 35 yards is the what I would say the maximum usability of the light. You can see past that, but you're not going to be able to tell much about what's in the background after about 35 yards. Now here's a video of deer up close. You know, obviously 15 to 20 yards is a really good range for this little camera, and you can see things in real good detail. The video quality, image quality, just really good on this. No complaints there. You know, daylight, nighttime, it really does a good job of taking pictures and motion and stuff. Battery life, I mean, it's, you know, there is no really reason to worry about that because it's got the solar panel. I never had a problem with that during the whole month of testing. You know, as long as it's pointed towards the sun. That's the one thing that is, you know, my suggestion here for improvement is that you actually have to put this camera facing the sun. Okay, so it has to get direct sunlight. Personally, I would rather have a detachable solar panel so that I could put this the camera facing away from the sun and the solar panel on the back side of whatever facing the sun. I never choose to actually put my cameras facing the sun because they, you know, the sun will bleed and eventually fade the camera, and you know, sun deteriorates plastic and things like that. So you know, in the long run, I don't think it's the greatest design to have the solar panel connected straight to the top of the camera, and where actually the camera has to face the sun. You really, for the maximum quality of pictures, you don't want the sun touching the lens at all. You really want to face it away from the sun. So that could be a design improvement in the future, but I didn't have any problems with it in this testing, at least 1 month. Everything functioned fine. Let me talk about Wi-Fi function now. The Bluetooth range on it at maximum distance, I'm talking like maximum distance, no obstructions, clear line of sight, no tree or wall or branches or anything. You can actually connect to this thing as far away as 60 yards. I know this because at the old place where I showed you those first videos, where it was actually 60 yards from my kitchen window. And so, I mean, that is measured with the tape. And so I could actually open my window with my smartphone, find the Bluetooth signal from the camera, and then use it to turn on the Wi-Fi. And, you know, it's funny that the Wi-Fi doesn't have much more range than the Bluetooth. So, but, you know, you have to be within Bluetooth range to remotely turn the Wi-Fi on anyway, so there really is no reason for it to actually have much more range. But the Bluetooth and Wi-Fi strength of signal is about, equal, you know, about 60 yards. And that's under the perfect optimum conditions. 30 yards is much better, and that's like at my new place. It's about 30 yards away. I can sit on the front porch, drinking my coffee, and just sitting there, access the camera while I'm drinking my coffee and look at the pictures and see what came the night before. And that's beautiful. I love that feature right there. If the camera were somewhere out in the wild, you can walk up to it, access the Bluetooth, and look at your videos and pictures, and you can download them on your phone. It's kind of slow if you want to download a lot of videos, even if you're standing right next to it. I mean, it does take time to download a video, even over Wi-Fi. It's not the fastest thing. So if you wanted to download, you know, 100 videos, it would be best to take the card out of the camera and do it directly, because you're going to be standing there for a couple hours trying to download all those videos. Outside of that, it works just fine. You know, I mean, it is good for, you can pull up the thumbnails, see, the thumbnails actually on the app are good enough to where you can see if a deer shows up or an animal's in the picture. Nothing small, but they're big enough to see like a dog or a pig or a deer. Bigger animals, you can tell, and then you can watch just that one. So it works good. I have no complaints with any of that. Okay, guys, so I made a separate video about how to actually set up the app and connect via the Wi-Fi. Don't want to do that in this video here. So if you don't know how to do that and you need some help, go look at that video on my channel. I will throw a link to it in the description of this one if you need help finding it, okay? And I'll walk you through that. Let me talk about the actual a problem that I had with the Wi-Fi connectivity of this camera. And it's not actually the camera's fault, but my phone's fault, okay? My phone and most smartphones that I know of, I don't use Apple, so I'm talking about Android here, but most smartphones that I've ever had, when you're connected to a network, a Wi-Fi network, if that network does not have internet, and this camera creates a Wi-Fi network, it turns itself into a little bitty router, and that's how you connect to it. But it doesn't have access to the internet. And so smartphones, they don't like not having access to the internet. They're designed from the manufacturer. They want internet. They need that data. They're data-hungry devices. So if they're connected to a Wi-Fi network that does not have internet, and they sense another network that actually has internet, say your home network or something that you've actually connected to, they're going to kick this one out because this one doesn't have internet, and they're going to choose that one. They prefer that network. And so you might be trying to access the camera, you might set it up, and you might go to Wi-Fi and everything will work for a few minutes, and then all of a sudden the app will stop working, it'll stop downloading, and you might think it's the app's fault, you might think it's the camera's fault, but actually what has happened is in the background your phone says, no internet over there, get rid of that, I'm going to this one over here. So if you're out in the woods and there's no other Wi-Fi networks around, that's not going to happen. But if you're close to another Wi-Fi network which you've connected to, and you know, it's not going to work for networks that you've not put the password or anything into, but networks that you've been connected to that have internet, it's going to kick this one out. It's going to connect to that one, unless you go to your actual Wi-Fi settings on your phone after it's kicked this one off. Go to it and manually select this one. You're basically saying, forget you, phone. I hate your automated choice. I want you to do this. Do what I tell you to do. So once you connect to this camera via Wi-Fi, if you're in range of your own Wi-Fi network that has internet, you have to go back to the settings a second time and manually select this one. If it's already selected, deselect it. Select your home network. Once it's connected, then manually select this one a second time, and from that point on your phone will say, okay, I give up, you want that, that's what I'm gonna do, and it won't kick it out anymore. So that's one problem that I ran into because I've been accessing the camera from my home network, and there's this kind of battle and competition there. So I hope that helped you out. Guys, really not much more to say about it. Motion detection was on, video image quality good. Range was great, at 40, 50 yards away, it's picking up cars and stuff going through my driveway. I'll throw pictures up while I'm talking there. It picked up every car that came in my driveway. I don't really have a complaint about the detection ratio. I didn't get any false positives at all. Of course, it's very clean where I have things, so, there's not like a whole lot of brush, but it didn't have any false positives. Where there was nothing in the image. What else here? The infrared range, I think, was very good. The nighttime video, very good. I mean, every camera is going to struggle in low light. That's like dusk and dawn, because that's just, even if you're shooting with a DSLR, you're going to struggle in those conditions. But it all did really good. So, all right, guys, well, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have, please like, subscribe, and comment. I hope you like my new land that I'm shooting here. I'm going to try to shoot more in the forest because I don't have a studio. All right, guys, we'll talk to you later. Until next time, this is the Gadget Man saying, I'll see you later.